welcome back. Having technical difficulties, just had to turn it off and back on again, as my husband would say, and everything seems to be working. So if you are just now joining us, I am working on the Stripology ruler and learning how to use it myself. And so I'm just going through this process with you. Today's episode is all about trying to learn how to do diamonds and then learning how to square up my blocks, because that has become a major lifesaver. And let's just face it, the Stripology is all about that. Literally can save you 75% of your cutting time. And let's face it, all of us just want to be at the sewing machine. Cutting sometimes, I mean, like, you just want to be done and you want to be ready to go. My daughter was cutting out tons and tons of little squares this weekend. And she was like, that's it. Next time I come to you, Mom, I am getting a Stripology. So here we go.
200 1-inch squares.
Right, 200 1-inch squares, and the poor thing had to do it without the Stripology. I feel so sorry for her. So what I have done to do my diamonds is I have lined up I'm gonna move this back just a little bit so that you can sort of see the whole thing. I have lined up my 60-degree line right there with my fabric. And so I'm just lift this up a little bit.
You want me to go over to just the camera?
And you can go over to just the camera, it'd be fine. And I'm gonna just move that right out there. Okay, now you'll notice that I can only do diamonds until I get to about 14 inches, okay? To the 14 inch mark, okay? So I'm gonna show you what we have to do, at least I think I am, but we're gonna figure this out. Okay, so right here we have, whoops, send you flying. There we go.
Nope, you just showed off the whole room.
I showed off the whole room. Actually, it doesn't look that bad right now, so I think we're okay. Good now?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, Lanny's got a new little toy for us, so I bet you it's going to be a little bit more steady than this little guy. Okay, so I am going to start down here at my 0. I always want to start at the 0 to zero everything out.
Aim it up just a tad.
Aim it up just a tad. Good?
Yep.
Excellent. Okay, now this is a 2.5-inch strip. So I need to go every 2.5 inches. So in this case, it's the squares. She has marked the circles are inches, the stars are 1.5-inch cuts, and the squares are 2.5-inch cuts. This is a 2.5-inch strip of fabric. So I want diamonds that are going to be 2.5-inch diamonds. So I'm going to start at my 0 mark and I am going to slide in just like that and follow the mark. Now, when I started this, I would sometimes go into the wrong slit. So I used a vis-a-vis marker to make sure I knew which slit I was going into. That is just a learning curve of the Stripology, is making sure you're going into the right slit. So when you start working with the Stripology, I recommend you do what I'm doing right now and pull out a whole bunch of scrap and just cut away, because believe me, you're going to just enjoy every single minute of it. Okay, so I'm going at 2.5 inches here, and you can see that I'm sort of sliding this tool right into my teardrop and then marking it up. Going into the next square. And I know.
And now you're off the camera.
And now I'm off the camera, so I'll go up just a little bit. Does that work?
Yep.
And go up. And I know that I'm getting really close to the fact that I'm not going to be able to do the next 2.5-inch cut. So I am going to have to turn the ruler over. Whee! And then I can line back up with my 60-degree right there. Go on. Just like that. And I lined up with the 0. I'm not quite on, but this is a scrap and I'm just demonstrating. And then I can continue cutting at my 2.5, which is going to be, right? Yeah.
It's not marked.
Right. Well, I did something wrong, so I'll have to figure out what that is. See, I am learning just like you guys are, but you can see how now I can continue going on. There is a way to do it. You turn it over and it's ready to go and you've got everything ready to go. And now you have all these perfect, wonderful diamond shapes, okay? So key things with the diamonds are that you wanna make sure that you're cutting your diamonds. If you've got a 2.5-inch piece of fabric, then you wanna make sure that you're cutting a 2.5-inch diamond, okay? So make sure you're doing that. So let me show you. So that's diamonds. You can do tons and tons and tons of stuff with diamonds. So you can go back to me, Mom. So you can do tons and tons of stuff with diamonds. In fact, Stripology book, in fact, I think it's the Stripology 2 book, has an entire quilt or 2 using diamonds. And so that is really, really cool. One of the other things that you can do with diamonds is that if you want to take, and I was going to like sort of demonstrate this. So let me demonstrate this really quick. If you want to take, not only that, but I can also demonstrate how you cut your strips. And so with my strip, so my strip right here is a little bit too long to go into the Stripology. And so I'm going to simply fold it in half. Okay, and I'm going to stick this. Remember, you have your 0 mark, but this is a pretty perfectly marked perfectly positioned or cut piece of scrap. And so I don't have to worry about really too much doing anything. And so what I can do now is I'm going to cut 1.5-inch strips, and I'm going to show you how I can make, in fact, I can show you how I do this 2 things at the same time. Okay, so I have this gorgeous purple too, right? We're gonna make purple, peach. This is why I have my mom along. Okay, so what I can do here is I can line up like that, and I can line up like this right here, and I can do both colors at the same time. I can also stack them. So I can stack them like that, making sure that their folds are right and that they're on the edge, right? Okay. And at this point in time, I would probably bring out my smaller Stripology. In fact, I think I will do that. It just is a little bit easier. If I'm doing long, long strips, it's really nice to have that big workhorse. But this thing is just, oh my gosh, it is the most delightful piece of equipment I have in this shop. Okay, so I'm gonna move this back down so you can see. I like how I chose a nice light fabric to demonstrate this because sometimes it's a little bit hard to see.
I'm gonna fade back over.
All right, good. All right, cool. So I have lined up with the 0 point. I think I'm just gonna move that over just so that you can see. I have lined up with my horizontal, and I can see, even though right here I'm not on a line, I can see how with these little dots that she has put in here that I am still lined up with my my fold. That is very, very important. You want to make sure you're lined up here and you're lined up here. If that's not the case, make sure you're going with the fold. Otherwise, you'll end up with a strip that's doing that. So I'm going to start by cutting just like that. Okay, that's my 0 line, and I moved it. It doesn't usually move. Okay, and then if you are having problems seeing, you know how I told you I use the vis-a-vis markers? Well, guess what? Gundren has created these wonderful little stickers that do not leave a residue on your ruler so that you can see exactly where you're supposed to be going. And I have been able to reposition these guys a couple of times without even pulling out another one. So I am going to put, just so that you can easily see, I better move this up. Go away so that y'all can see.
Okay, move the camera up a little bit.
I will. I'm going to move that over, and I'm going to move the camera just like that. I am like really having issues with the camera wanting to stay up. Is it okay?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So over here, and I don't need to 0 out this time because I've already done that, but I am going to go ahead and line up again and make sure all my dots and everything are lined up well. Good. Okay, so I'm going to put another yellow one right here just so that you can see. I like the yellow ones, I think, better than I like the purple ones. I wanted to try the yellow ones today because the purple ones, I'm working on a purple quilt. And I think the purple ones are just, everything's blending in and it's driving me crazy. I'll show you in a minute. So now I want to cut 1.5 inch strips, okay? So I can go in here. And then I can go in here where my other arrow is. And I have cut perfect 1.5 inch strips in no time. I didn't need to move my ruler. I didn't need to do anything. And so now what I can do is I can quickly sew these two pieces together. If I can move everything out of the way. Whee! I'm not used to having a cut and table surface here. All right, so I am going to stitch these two together. Let's make sure you're up. Perfect. Last thing I want to do is have to thread a needle. There we go. And all I'm going to do is stitch 1/4 inch along this right here. All right. And then when I open this, if I wanted to do diagonal, bring out the workhorse again. Or if I wanted to do the, diamonds, let's put you so that you're a little bit more diamond. I'm going to line that up right there with my 0 and do exactly that. I did not iron this well with my fingers. There we go. Now you're better. And now I can make diamonds, and you can do this. I hashed out, now I need to figure out how, what is my size for this? Where's my little ruler? Yes.
The feed is doing something on the other camera. What should be being seen is almost stop motion. It's weird.
Okay. Well, we're going to do the best we can. It is a 2.5 inch, which is what I thought, but I wanted to double check. Always measure twice. Okay. So now we're going to do 2.5 and 5. 7.5, and I'm going to stop right there just so that I can show you how even I did like a gazillion. This is the first time that I realized how much I loved the Stripology, is that I did a zillion little itty bitty 9 patches in no time, because I was able to cut very, very quickly with the Stripology. And so you can see how you could make some really, really cool diamond quilts with this. And then next week, I'll show you how to do, turn these diamonds into triangles. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to show you was how to square my blocks. Okay, so I'm using my little guy right here. This is the Stripology Mini, squared mini, and it is absolutely wonderful. So right here, we okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's just stop motion.
On the other side, yeah.
Okay, so cool. So you can do the little one all the way if you want. I'll move this up just a little bit so you can see. So the only thing that I have discovered with the squaring one is that I kind of like to use brighter blocks to demonstrate, because you can't see a darn thing. And so actually this is the brightest one I have right now, so it will be fine. It's almost like I need I need to get out a lighter cutting mats, because it's hard for me to see the diagonal right here. You have a diagonal here, you have a diagonal here, and I'm gonna stick this under here so you can see everything. And you have the square here, right here. And these right here, these squares are on the whole number. And so we have a 4, we have a 5, we have a 6. But if we turn this over, then we can square doing 3/4 squares, 1 1/4, 1 3/4, 2 1/4. This was fantastic the other day because I had to have 2 3/4 inch squares. And I was like, no way. Oh my gosh. Like they were perfect. It was fantastic. Okay, so this one right here, I am going to, oops, turn you over because I need 3 inch squares. So I have already stitched them all together using the 2 per method and then ironed them. I'm going to start by lining up my diagonal right here. And if you've ever seen any of my squaring videos, you know how important it is on making sure that that diagonal is the center of your block and that that's how you square. And so if I were to square this thing using a normal squaring ruler, which of course is not here. Where's my other one? I had it just a minute ago. Oh, here it is. Okay, so if I were going to use this ruler to square, and I need a 3-inch square, then I want to go. Wait, nope. I want to go this way, and I want to see that that diagonal is going through there, right there. Okay, and so that means that if I'm squaring this up, I am going to take this thing, find that diagonal, and then make sure that I'm within, I didn't like that. Let me go this way. Still not right. I'll figure this out.
Just use the Stripology.
Right? It's like, okay, just, okay, there we go. Now I'm it. Okay, so you see I've got my 3 inch, and I've got my diagonal there, right there on the white line. Okay, but now I have to go that way, and then I have to turn it, and I'm still not right. Anyway, so you get it, that you just have to keep turning the thing, and you have to keep lining it up so that you get the whole thing squared. Whereas when you stick it, I can't even do it now, guys. I can't even square with a regular ruler. I have really done about 100 of these in the past week. And so maybe it is true that I just can no longer do it that way. So now what I have done is, since I already squared 2 sides, I have lined that up right there. My diagonal's already lined up. And then I can go like that. And I can go like that. And now I have another diagonal that's going to take me down that way. And I have all my little arrow points pointing to where my square is, and I know exactly which line I have to cut on. And now I have a perfect square. And I'm going to do that again because you only saw half of it. And I might do it again because I have about 50 more to do today. Let's see. Okay, so this time I'm lining right up here. And I'm going to go at the 3. And I'm going to go at the 0 right there. And then I can take this, turn it around, and now I'm lining up my horizontal and my vertical. Actually, I'm lining up only my horizontal line. Sorry about that. And I'm lining up my diagonal. So my horizontal and my diagonals. And then I'm cutting on the vertical, on the 0 and the 3. And it's perfect. And only 50 more to go. Oh, shush.
I get to sew them together. So.
And then she gets to sew them together. I do all the trimming, and then she gets to sew them all together. So I am going to just keep going, and you all see just how lovely this is, because now you don't have to do a whole bunch of turning and lining up again, and it's all right there for you. The only thing, these are pretty good, okay? But I was doing some, let me see if I can find one for you. Make sure I leave that HJ there or I will get really confused. When I was doing the dark ones, the only thing, and maybe it's because I have so much light here that I can see it a little bit better, but it was sort of like the lines were getting a little bit, don't turn that around, turn that around. Yeah, see, this is much better. It might just be the purple and the black, but when my purple is with that black, oh, it's really hard to see that center line. Luckily, I don't have many of those to do, but so I have lined up that diagonal, cutting on the 0 and the 1, 0 and the 3, turn it around, line up right here with this diagonal, the horizontal lines, and I'm going to cut my vertical. 49 to go. But I can do this probably in an hour. I can trim all these squares in an hour. And the nice thing is that my hands are not like, this doesn't slip nearly as much as my squaring ruler does. So I'm not having to hold pressure too much. And I am having problems with tiredness in my hands. And so this, all of a sudden I can square for 2 hours and not have that pain. And so that is already a plus in being able to continue and have more stamina to do my quilting. So hopefully the live stream went okay today with having the little intermittent stops and stuff like that. We'll go back and double check that video, and then Laney will help us figure out what's going wrong. But today we talked about making diamonds and how cool that is to be able to put into a quilt. And then we also talked about squaring using the squared mini. If this is something you're interested in, if you're enjoying, you're local and you're enjoying looking at what the Stripology can do, I do have a class coming up on July 5th, June or July 15th. It's a Saturday. And that's called the Stripology Little JoJo. And so check that out because it's a not wall hanging, it's a little table runner that we're going to complete in a day. And boy, will you understand the Stripology technique for that quilt. And so you'll be able to use that in all sorts of different projects. And so, and it's using just 5.5-inch squares. 5-inch squares. So you're going to be able to get a little charm pack and have a little project by the end of the day. And so that's going to be super fun. And check us out this evening as we will be doing our nightcap, and hopefully all of this stuff will be running very smoothly tonight because Grandma's going to be behind the screen again.
Well, you're going fine over here, but on the
mini cameras,
the other camera, the what is going out?
Yeah,
it's
okay. We'll figure it out. So thank you so much for watching. We will, if you've enjoyed it, please share, like, subscribe, comment, all that other fun, wonderful YouTube, Facebook, all that other stuff, social media stuff, and we will see you this evening. Bye, everyone.